this is Jill with stampwithjill.com and Fun Stamper's Journey, and today I'm going to show you how to make some toucan cards. This is the card we're going to make today in the video, and if you can see on this circle behind the toucan there are some clouds. You can better see them on this card where I did the entire background as a cloud, so we're going to learn how to make clouds today, and we are going to make this card today. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the clouds. So I have a big piece of whipped cream cardstock and I have a scallop punch out, and we are going to use a large dauber and the pool play ink, and we are going to make this background real quick that's on this bigger card. And we're also going to do it on this circle too, but it's easier to learn and to see on this bigger background. So it is so easy to make these clouds. All you need is a punch. So I usually like to start in the center of the cardstock, and you just dab the ink, and you want them to be different colors. So I dabbed that one there, and we're going to add some more, and you just continue to go down the paper alternating your spots. So this top part might have been just a little bit too heavy on the ink, but you can see how the clouds kind of appear. I think we'll go right here. Some of these little imperfections, they will get hidden as you add more clouds. And you know, some days it's a bright blue sky, so sometimes you need a brighter background. So the more ink you use, the darker the sky. If you have a little bit lighter of a touch, you will have a lighter sky. But you can see how the clouds sort of emerge from just dabbing the ink in all different locations. Oops. Line that back up. And you want to make sure that you go all the way off the edge of the paper, especially if you're using this as your full background, because you don't want to have a big white spot at the bottom where you don't look like you finished your clouds. Okay, so last one. Then if you wanted to add just like a little bit of edging around the edge, it kind of gives it a finished look. I didn't do that on my sample card, but you can do it. And there you have your cloud background. So we are gonna, before I put this away, we are going to actually make it on the, let's see, so here's a quick shot of that background card, and you can see the similarities. This ink will dry a little bit lighter, but I had a much heavier ink and pressing down on the dauber than I did on this one. So we're going to make it on this circle die cut. Now I used the circles around die set, and that's what gives me the circle and the stitching. So let's go back to this sample real quick. So you can see there's light clouds on the background, and then the rest of the card is pretty straightforward. So we move this out of the way, and let's go ahead and put some clouds on here. Once you get started, it is so much fun to just put clouds on everything. So here I'm going a little bit lighter than just doing a couple of light taps. A little bit lighter than the full background, but still enough to add some color. There we go. So now we have some clouds. And we can put the dauber and the pool play away. We won't need this. You can either trash it or save it for another project. All right, so back to the card. Now we need to make the components for this toucan card. So I have a piece of whipped cream cardstock here. And what we are going to do is we are going to stamp the components of this card. So first I'm going to stamp my toucan in black licorice ink. Actually, first I'm going to stamp my leaves in kiwi slice. So I'm going to need 5 leaves. I'm going to need 3 of this pattern and 3 of this tropical leaf. I mean 2 of those. Probably should have had another cup of coffee this morning. Seemed to be. When you stamp these, you want to leave some room. Okay. And then you're going to stamp 2 of these. Okay. Then I'm going to need another piece of white for my toucan, but you kind of get the idea. So what you're going to then do is, what I like to do for this is, apparently I smudged a little ink on the leaf, luckily that won't matter, is you store my dies on a magnetic sheet. Probably should show you the toucan stamp set because it is super, super cute. Look at all those fun tropical elements and fun stamp set, or fun sentiments. Okay, back to die cutting. So I like to cut all at once because it's less work. So what you can do is you're going to put these on and use a little piece of washi tape to hold it in place. And then if you put one over here on another image, and then on another piece of paper you can put the toucan right there. Put a little piece of washi tape on there so they don't move when you put them in. If you were only doing one, you don't really need the washi tape to hold it in place. But when you do multiples, it's easier for the dies to kind of slightly shift, and then it ends up cutting like that. And then nobody wants to have to die cut twice. So when you put a little piece of washi tape on there, you can cut multiple images at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to put these away. I have already die cut the leaves here. So you can see I have those here. And I skipped the stamping of the toucan because I already have one stamped and colored. But for this sentiment, good vibes only, we are going to stamp that, and we're going to need that circle. And that comes from the letterboard sentiment stamp set, which you can see here. Has lots of fun words. I've been using this one a lot. But we are going to use good vibes only, and we are going to stamp that on the right-hand side of the clouds. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. So good vibes only. All right, now, so that was in black licorice ink. Now we are going to stamp the branch and some little leaves. So I have hazelnut blend for the branch, which is also in the toucan stamp set, and I'm going to have that go a little bit under the words. So there you have that. And then I have this little tiny leaf to add some color in addition, a couple leaves in addition to the green leaves that'll be behind the. So I'm just going to stamp these kind of randomly on the branch. So there you have that. So we have some leaves. All right, now we are ready to put the card together. So what I have here is the pre-cut cardstock for the card, and the In the Tropics designer paper, and a small piece of In the Tropics paper. Okay, this piece is 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I learned about the Journey Easy Glide tape runners is you don't want to hold them like this. You actually want to put your thumb on it and not squeeze the middle, because otherwise it can jam. So we are going to tape this. I had a couple of these jam in a class this past week, so I wanted to make sure that we fix that problem. So I learned a little bit about tape runners this week. So we are going to put that on the card. For this little skinny strip, I am going to use the Journey craft glue because it's going to be pretty hard to get that tape on there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this on here and tape that right to my card. Okay, so this is 1/4 inch by 5 1/2. So now we are ready to complete the card. So I'm going to put some tape on my leaves and get those ready to go. You almost have to retrain yourself to use a tape runner when you have to hold it differently from the way you've been holding tape runners for maybe 10 years. But they work. This works so much better when you're not squeezing where the tape runs, and then it doesn't get all tangled and jammed in there. Okay, so I have this. I'm gonna kind of want to line it up with this. So I'm gonna just pop this under here, and then I'm going to slide that one there. This one's gonna peek out over here. And then on the bottom, I'm going to have this one and just a smidge of this one peek out. So we are ready to attach this. I'm going to attach it with some foam squares. Okay. So we're going to put that right on the center where the leaves peek out. And then we are going to add the toucan with some foam squares, and then we're just going to put some finishing touches on it. Okay, I'm going to put this right here where he kind of wraps around the sentiment. So there you have that. So now we just need a few finishing touches. So in this sample card, I'm going to put it up a little closer, there are some sparkly green gems, and the toucan and his eye are shiny. So for the shiny gems, those are so easy. They are part of the All the Things Bloom benefits. Now, and there's a glare on the packaging, but you can see you get some there's glue dots on the back here, so they're pre-sticky, and you have some different colored gems and sequins. So I already have a package open, so we literally are just going to peel and stick them. When I do these gems, I like to use an odd number. So 3, 5, I usually group 2 together. So I'm gonna do the big one and the small one, and then I'm gonna put the small one down here, the super small one. You just have to grab it just right. Okay, so now we have the gems in place, and the last step is to add a little bit of Journey glaze to the toucan's beak and eye so he looks realistic. Now, my Journey glaze is fairly new, but I still like to poke it to get it going with a little needle. That way there it never really jams. So I'm just gonna do that real quick, and then it should come right out. And then all you do is you rub it, kind of smooth it around the toucan to make his beak super shiny, and then a little tiny dot on his eye. All right, so I'm going to see if I can zoom in on that so you can really see it. All right, so how's that look? So you can see it's shiny. It's wet. I kind of missed a little tiny spot there, but you get the idea. Let's zoom back out. And now you have your finished card with clouds. I actually like the slightly brighter clouds with the heavier hand. There's probably more ink on my dauber too than the original. So there you have some toucan cards. You got to see some great products today, and thanks for joining me.